Hey there everybody, welcome to part 2 of the burning tutorial. Here's what we're gonna learn in this part. And so on. Okay, and we'll start with the left hand. Okay, so you play 4 chords. The first one is F sharp minor. So what you do is, first you play 3 notes down here with your pinky, your index finger, and your thumb. You'll play F sharp, C sharp, F sharp. Okay? And then you will add 2 more notes after this F sharp. And it's gonna be G sharp and A. Okay, and the way you're gonna do this is you're gonna start to play this G sharp with your middle finger and then this A with your index finger. You can also play it differently. You can play it like this. So with your index finger and with your thumb. Okay, whatever is more comfortable to you. Just have to add those 2 notes. Okay, and you play that row of notes twice. Okay, then you go to the second chord, A major. It's gonna sound like this. You play A, E, A, and then you add B and C sharp up here. Again with your middle finger and index finger, or with your index finger and thumb. But this time, middle finger and index finger is a lot easier. You also play that row twice, and then you go to the third chord, C sharp minor, and it's gonna sound like this. Now this is more difficult to play. You have to play C sharp, then here, then G sharp, and then you have to go up to E with your thumb. So those are the first 3 notes. And then you add 2 more black keys up here. There's gonna be F sharp and G sharp. Okay, like this. Also play that twice. Okay, and the last, 4th chord is going to be D major. And what you're going to do, you're going to move from C sharp and G sharp down here, 1 note up to D and A. Okay? And you're going to play D, A, F sharp, G sharp, A. So those 3 notes from the previous chord just move up 1 note to these 3 notes. Okay? Okay, so the 3rd and 4th chord will sound like this. Now you have 4 chords, and you play every chord twice, and you also play the whole thing twice, okay? I'll do that once for you. Okay, and you also play this whole thing twice. So just all of those 4 chords twice again. I'll show you what to do with the pedal this time. So very simple, just lift the pedal on the beginning of every chord. Okay, now the melody part starts. So this is gonna come in with the right hand. And so on. So you see the right hand is pretty simple. But first we're gonna look at the left hand again. There are just very little changes. The first 2 chords are gonna stay exactly the same. Okay, and now the third chord, you're gonna play E, B, E, and then add those 2 notes here. F sharp and G sharp. Okay? And then the last chord is gonna be D, A, D. And you will again add the 2 notes above that D. Alright? So left hand is gonna sound like this. Okay, the right hand is gonna be pretty similar to the intro. So first you're gonna play this. Pretty simple. You can also just remember the simple pattern. You just play A 3 times. And then you just add the 2 notes below A before you play the second one and the third one. Okay? So like this. Okay, that was the first part. Now it goes on and you start from B. And now you can remember this pattern. You play B twice and then down to F sharp. Okay? And in between the second and third note, you're gonna add A and G sharp. So, first note, A, G sharp, second note, A, G sharp, third note. That's why I teach you these simple patterns first. Just remember this, and then remember to play A and G sharp in between. So it will sound like this. Okay, now we'll combine it with the left hand. Okay, what you're gonna do is, first remember the sibling pattern, 3 A's. You will hold each one of those A's for 4 notes on the left hand. 4, right? And on the 5th note, you will start those 2 notes that you play in between. Then you play the second note, the second A on the right hand, and start this chord again, and hold this A again for 4 notes. And on the 5th note, you again play those 2. Okay? And now when you reach this 3rd A, you will go to the 2nd chord and hold this A for 2 full chords. Okay? So this first part on the right hand covers the first two chords of the left hand. It will sound like this. Okay, and you do exactly the same with the next notes and the next chord on the left hand. Okay, again on the last note of the chord on the left hand, right here, you start these two in between notes. And then you hold the last note for two chords. Alright, let's listen to that again. Okay, now you will play this on the right hand. Let's look at a simple version again. You play A twice, and then C sharp. Okay, now, before you play this first A, that is the first time something comes in before the first simple note here. And what you're going to play before that is E, F sharp, G sharp. Okay? And then you start on this first A. And then, again, very simply, you play G sharp and F sharp before playing the second A. And again, G sharp and F sharp before playing the C sharp. So, okay, now what you have to do is, because you start with these three notes before the first A, you have to play them during the last chord of the left hand here. And then you start on the first one again. And you play these three notes on the last two notes of the left hand, right here. On this E, you play the first one, then on this F sharp the second one, and play the third one as well on this F sharp. Okay? And as soon as you reach this A, you go back to the first chord. Right? Once more. Okay, and now it's simple again, just like you combine the patterns before that. Only now you jump up to this C sharp on the second chord. And you just hold this C sharp for this full chord. Okay? Okay, and again, part 2 of this right hand is going to be this. Alright, so you play the first B, then A and G sharp in between, B, A and G sharp in between, and now instead of just playing this F sharp in the end, you're gonna play F sharp, E, F sharp. So like this. Alright. Now let's combine it with the left hand. So you played this C sharp for the second chord. And now you start on the third chord with this B. Alright, and now you would go down to F sharp and you will play F sharp, E, F sharp for the first 3 notes of the last chord. Okay, so again. Alright. Now you notice you actually play this again, but it's going to be a little more complicated because now the right hand is going to play this. So earlier you played E, F sharp and G sharp before starting with the first note again, and this time you're going to play E, F sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, and then the first note. So it's an extension of those notes. Okay? And you're gonna play these notes during the last chord. You're gonna start on the second note of this last chord. And then again, first chord, okay? So this is a little more tricky. Let's listen to that again. Okay, so just remember, if you do this, you also will play this little intro before starting with the first chord again. Alright? Okay, and we get to the last part of this verse. Now your right hand is going to play this. Okay, so it starts off the same way. Again, the simple version first. You play A, and then C sharp down here. So instead of playing C sharp up here, you just go 1 octave lower, play it down here. And again, in between, you play G sharp and F sharp. And also, exactly the same with the chords on the left hand. So just hold this C sharp down here for the full second chord of the left hand. Okay, and then the right hand plays this. And the simple melody is again B, B, A. So you're going to start on B, and then you're going to play A sharp and G sharp before playing the second B. And now gets a little tricky. Before playing this A, you will play A, B, C sharp. Okay? And after playing this A, you will add G sharp and another A. So, okay? But the chord starts on this first A. Right here. And then you just add those two notes. So with the left hand, it's gonna sound like this. You're on the third chord now. And you start with these three notes on the fourth note of the third chord. Okay, right here. Okay, on this F sharp of the third chord, of the second time you play the third chord. I hope this all makes sense to you. And then you start with the fourth chord on this A. And now you remember you add G sharp and A, and you do that on the second and third note of the fourth chord. Okay? So again, from the third chord on. Alright. Okay, the left hand changes in this part. So first you'll start with the first one. The second one. And now, instead of just playing the third one, you're gonna play G, D, G. Okay? This is not even in the key. Usually you don't play G, you play G sharp. But this is an exception. So you'll play G sharp, D, G sharp. And then add A and B. Okay? But only once, and then you will go back to the first chord again. And play it 4 times. Alright? So again, first chord, second chord, then G major, and back to the first one. 4 times. Now let's look at the right hand. So the simple melody again. It's gonna be C sharp, E, and then B and A. This is a little bit more confusing. C sharp, E, B, A. Okay? So what you're gonna do is, you remember you start on the C sharp, and before you play this first C sharp, you will again play like intro notes, and those are gonna be G sharp, A, B. Okay? Before you start this first note. Alright, now the second note is going to be C sharp again. Before you play the second C sharp, you will play B and A. Now you go up to E, and again you will add B and A before you jump up to E. Okay, so again. Okay, now the right hand plays this. Very simple. Those are the last 2 notes. B, A. And before you go to A, you just play A, B, C sharp. Okay? That's it. Let's combine that right away with the left hand. Now again, you have intro notes. So that means those 3 notes are going to be played in the last chord before that. Okay? So the last chord was this. You start those 3 notes on the 4th one, on this E. And then you go to the first one again. Okay? Okay, now we're at the first chord again. Hold this E for the full second chord. Okay, and now remember, the left hand changes to G, D, G. And you start on this G together with this B on the right hand. Okay, and now you remember you play A, B, C sharp before going down to A. Now you play these 3 notes, A, B, C sharp, on the last 2 notes of this special chord. Okay? Did you see? I started with this A on this A down here as well. Maybe you can remember it like that. And then you reach this final A when you go back to the first chord again. And you remember you play this first chord 4 times, and that's how long you hold this A as well. Okay? So let's listen to that last part again. Okay, that was it for this part. Let's listen to all of that again. I will just leave away this first intro with the left hand. And part 2 is done. Click on the link to watch part 3 somewhere around here. And if you like me a lot, you can support me on Patreon if you want to. There's also a link here somewhere, and I'll use that money to make better videos and more videos. Alright, thank you for watching. See you in the next part. Goodbye.